Nobody is paying attention.
I know.
Oh, they are. Let's just start. They'll catch up.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I'm gonna take a real quick vote. I was on
Yes.
a training session last night for Zone, and one of the exercises was all the list of Rotary traditions. And it said, is it a good thing? Is it a neutral thing? Or is it a potentially off-putting thing? Or I can't remember how they, and the first one was ringing of the bell. So we'll vote. Okay.
Next thing,
Anybody not want me to continue ringing the bell as president of the Spirit of St. Louis County Rotary Club?
Knock yourself out.
Good deal. All right, let's say the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The pledge is another thing.
The pledge is another thing,
You
yes.
go overseas and there's no pledges or singing. There might be some singing to the Queen every once in a while.
There was some interesting conversations.
They don't do away with that in the United States.
how about singing?
Singing was one of them. Prayer, invocation was one of them. I mean, it was just happy bucks, fines, the whole
Oh,
list.
yeah.
I should have brought it. I was kind of interested because last night it was innovation, not happen. Yeah,
I would need.
kind of interesting.
Who started singing in Rotary? Helen.
Herb was it?
I think it's Harry. But I don't
Harry.
know his last
Harry
name.
Ruggles,
Could be.
I
It
think.
was like the fourth or fifth meeting. And there was a wall and he stood up and said, "Come on, fellas, let's sing." We were doomed.
I don't think they did row your boat either.
Probably not.
Oh, Brian, before you sit down, would you please, would you please be our sergeant at arms this morning?
Tell your accountant.
Since, Tom, unless you want to drive a dial or Tom.
He's not coming down here until it stops raining.
Tell your accountant. he needs to do
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. We'll start
We don't
off
have any
with
limits.
fines, I guess, before we get to the heavy bucks. So we'll start with fines. Let's see. You know, I was just considering that.
It's always a good one.
Yeah, if you don't have a tie on.
There you go.
What's this?
You don't have a tie.
This is gonna happen next week too?
Well,
Probably
I'm
not.
Sergeant-
No, next week it'll be those.
I won't get asked to be sergeant no more. next week.
No kidding.
I didn't know you had a dress code here.
No.
There isn't. Any sergeant department makes their own rules.
Yes, dear.
Ours was also on the list.
And I guess if you have a tie on and if you're wearing a suit coat, then you probably ought to pay $1.
Wow.
On my tab, hard tab.
I'll make you work.
And then I guess we'll just go ahead and go to happy bucks. I think I got enough fines there. Any happy bucks? Yes.
I am happy to
Welcome
be
back.
back.
Welcome back.
Happy to have a dry basement and backyard.
Good. Where were you? Tell us again, and where you went?
Oh, my husband and his son and our grandson, 18 years old, flew up to Detroit on the 28th of June. Bob's son Steve bought a boat and we brought the boat home. So we had to go all the way up to Mackinac Island, all the way down to Chicago. So we had really good weather almost the entire time, which was really good. Otherwise, I'd still be out there.
So you brought the rain with you, is that what you're saying? That No,
The other direction.
No.
I've had friends of mine that wanted us to send it to California, and I said, sorry, it don't run that way.
Some of our friends in the Philippines had a little.
I had a,
last night.
unusual opportunity. Myself and two of my classmates from high school drove to Bossier City, Louisiana, which is right outside of Shreveport. And we saw a classmate that I hadn't seen since 1964. And I'll tell you, it was a lot of fun driving in the car with those two guys for that amount of time and reminiscing on high school and how we changed But the most interesting thing is that we stayed at a motel 2 nights, one's going down and back. And one of the guys I rode with, was a pretty successful insurance man. But each night he had to steal, he took a roll of toilet paper. He said, well, it's not been opened and I paid for this. And he took it home. And I never heard of anybody doing that.
You said he works for the insurance agent.
He sold insurance company.
Everybody that works for insurance companies.
I thought maybe somebody jump on that.
Are you recording? I'm not sure it can be heard, but yes, it is.
Well, besides dumping water out of the basement, which I really didn't care if it rained all night, I got a chance to watch my Mets beat the Yankees. So that was pleasant. And most importantly, I'm just thankful to be here. I'm to serve each and every day. Literally speaking.
I am happy to be here. I visited my second Rotary Club yesterday, but Dave and I went with a couple of other people. When we met Margie and John Wiedemeyer at the High Ridge Rotary Club for their installation. And
Oh, my.
And yes, they sang.
Oh, my.
they did, if you call it. I'm assuming that's part of tradition. The tradition is to be the
Awful.
what was that? The Knob Noster Band.
Yes.
Dan and Alex always used to play songs from them. They were terrible. But it was, I thought my installation was pretty laid back. Theirs was very laid back. Very laid back.
No?
Yeah, just one other item. Sunday, had the privilege of going to the MAC, fellow graduates of the Association of West Point, to have our kickoff luncheon for this coming football season. And we had a very special guest, the great coach of honor, Jeff Monk. And let me tell you something. He's a pistol. He is funny. But it was a very nice Sunday at the MAC. We had a great time. And by the way, again, like we said, all 100 of us, just thankful to be here.
We did it. Very good. All right, Ruth?
I'm sure there's reason for that, so
Happy.
I'm just, happy
Just
to be here.
because.
So,
My happy buck was glad that we're having Marlena as our speaker today. We do find some happy bucks to.
I was wondering, I'm like, what's going on? What have I
This is how we make money, we talk.
Sorry, and once you walk out the door, you cannot divulge that.
done? What happens in Rotary State?
Yeah, no.
Why we have to have a wallet.
Explains it all. Explains it all. I knew that something happened after that bell went
Right. Oh, and we did vote this morning to continue that. I was on a Zoom training last night, and that all the traditions of Rotary, they were asking if it's a good thing, a neutral thing, or it might.
Is it offensive?
Offensive to, so we
So,
voted, they voted.
How did that start? What does it symbolize other than the start of the meeting and the end of the meeting?
That's it.
Pretty much it.
Could somebody please?
I didn't know, why is it a bell? I mean,
I have no idea.
of any of the, I mean, it seems pretty iconic right there.
It is,
Wonder if
it's,
there was a-
and most clubs you go to, they do have a bell, and I guess as district governor nominee, I probably ought to find that out somewhere.
Well,
I
it's a
stumped him. I've only been here a few minutes and I've stumped him.
Okay,
Not good.
here, Brian, here's a fine. That
Be a
gave
good
me
Google
something to
question.
quiz people on the next zone training on the,
Well, we can ask Google.
well, we
I
have,
just wondered, I don't
We
know,
gotta
I
get a
mean,
couple of
when we
Rotary
start
folks.
church, we always ring the bell and it was supposed to symbolize that, church was about to start and so everybody would make sure that they came, you've got the dinner bell that they would ring out on the farm. So I just wondered if,
could be.
was it like, oh, hurry up?
You ring a bell at Rotary and it's the early part of the thing, everybody just stands up automatically. because the
Nice.
pledge comes after that, and if you ring it after the meeting's been going a bit, everybody walks out the door.
That's right.
So,
I always thought the bell was just the, if you got here after the bell rang, then you got to find
You
out.
gotta find it out.
That's what they trained you to do, huh? It's like Pavlovian dog. I've seen.
Well, we all know our guest speaker today as the lady that takes care of us. We're gonna find out a little bit more about her today and her passion, and she is in charge, and we're all friends.
you can be right up there
So
if
you
you
can
want.
be up there behind there, you can walk around, whatever you'd like to do.
I was gonna keep my phone with me only because I told, Cozy if she needs help to let me know. And
Okay.
I would come and help her. Yeah, I did, somebody said, oh, you're all dressed up, actually, so I should start by saying, I'm a member here at Zion. I have been here for almost 13 years. My husband is the pastor here. So I actually started as a teacher. I started teaching in 2001. And we started in San Antonio. That's where him and I met and where we got together and we got married. And then he's the one who became a pastor. So I was like, what exactly does that entail? So he was like, well, we're gonna need to move. He's like, you don't have to come with me, but I need to move. And I said, okay. And I'll go with you wherever you're gonna go, because I don't want to be without you. So moved to St. Louis, became a pastor. We expected to go back to Texas. That's what we were kind of told, that Texas likes to keep their boys. When interviews came along, I said, we went, where are the Texas people? And they said, oh, we kind of got behind and interviews are kind of over. And we went, what? Not go back to Texas? And so we were like, wherever the Lord leads us is fine. It was at that time, seminary was, the classes were a lot bigger. And so it was very rare to get a local call, which is somewhere in the St. Louis area, unless you had like 6 children or your wife had a really, really good job. You weren't staying here. You could ask all you wanted. So we didn't ask for a local congregation, but we ended up at St. Paul Lutheran, just down the street of the West County Mall. And we were very shocked to be able to stay. So at that point, we were like, okay, well, this is pretty cool. We'll stay around here. We were there for 3.5 years. And then, and actually we lived 5 minutes from here. And every time he would go to work, he would pass right by here, which really, divine intervention there. We were going to just stay for a while and move up or down to St. Charles or West County area is where we were going to end up. But the Lord led us here, and this church has been here over 150 years. It's a beautiful church. We've been very blessed to be with it. This area was not so pretty. So back in 2015, I was still teaching. I was actually the preschool, they had a Mother's Day out. And I took over that, and about a few months after I went, hey, I can't babysit. Like this is not working for me. I need to do something else. I wanted something where I could take my kids, because I took a few years off to be with my children. And I said, this is really not gonna work for me. So I was able to take them with me. It was part-time. It was working for me. So I said, may I have 2 degrees. May I go to the council and ask, can I change it to a preschool? And he said, sure, do it. So council approved it. I wrote my own curriculum. I changed the name. I went through all the bells and whistles. We went from a very small Mother's Day out to a very thriving preschool, which is wonderful. So 2015, my husband starts doing this idea he has. He says, if you know my husband at all, he's a very, he's always thinking outside the box. He's always thinking of new stuff. He's always working on growing who he is. So he goes, I'm gonna go and see how we can be in our community more. And I said, okay. So he started going to a Starbucks. I should have brought it with me. A Starbucks and sometimes a bread pill. And he had this, it's still in our room, this little block about this big that he built. It's just a little wooden block. And then he wrapped yellow paper around it, and on it he printed, I'm a local pastor, for prayers, questions, concerns, ask. And he just left it there. And he sat at a table and he studied. He didn't talk to anybody. And people would come up and sit with him and would ask him things, and he wasn't wearing his collar or any of that. It was just sitting there. And so he would do this a few times a week, and he said, Marlena, I have heard so many people asking questions. I've seen so much hurt. I've seen so many things. This is community, meeting people where they are. This is what we need to do. And I said, okay, what are we gonna do with that? And he goes, we need to renovate downstairs. Our bathrooms, if anybody has been in this building before, our bathrooms, if you turned around, you hit yourself. I mean, they were teeny tiny. Our kitchen was very old. The floor needed to be redone. So he went to the church and he said, I think we need to build a coffee shop. I think we need to find a place that we can have our community be, and that these kitchens that need to be, this kitchen needs to be redone anyway, these bathrooms need to be done. Why don't we just change it all and be more of an outreach? The space is using nothing right now. It's about Sunday morning. So they voted for it. We were almost entirely unanimous to do it. It was a 5-year project. And I believe it was, I believe, don't quote me, I think it was a $750,000 project we took on. Has been it's a beautiful, beautiful space that we ended up having. We have a commercial kitchen now. We have handicap accessible bathrooms, which we didn't have before. Nobody from the congregation could get down here. Part of our project that we started first was a ramp that is out here. We didn't have a ramp, so no one could get down here, which was sad. And not only that, but if people wanted to come down here, my husband and one other guy had physically carried them out so that they could be in this space. And that's not what we wanted. We wanted our members and anyone to be able to get in here. So, and then the next extension will be on the other side of this. There's actually going to be a wheelchair lift. That'll be our next thing. And one day we'd love to have elevators. Those are the future plans for the project, but one at a time. So we decided we wanted to have a nonprofit coffee shop, coffee and tea, I should say, that would just be a space, a third space for people, a meeting place for people, just places we could invite our community in without shoving the Bible down their throat, because that's unfortunately how a lot of people see us Christians, and that's not what we wanted. So we'll fast forward to 2020, got it all ready, we're ready to go. It's March. My husband, funny that he is, says, we're gonna open on April 1st, no fooling. And I'm like, pretty genius. Week before COVID hits, all of our inspections are passed. We are ready to go. Shutdown happens. So I should say, meanwhile, I keep saying, honey, I only do preschool in the morning. Our kids are in school. I know I have a full-time job. I get it. I really want to do higher Groundz. He goes, when do you find the time? And I said, I don't know, but I really feel like I'm supposed to get higher Groundz. Someone who's like, Marla, you can't go. I was like, look, preschool in the morning, higher Groundz in the afternoon, pick up the kids, come home. And he goes, are you crazy? You can't do that. And I'm like, I just really feel like I'm supposed to be doing this. I don't know. And he's like, okay, whatever. So pandemic hits. I'm at my highest amount ever. I've got 2 classrooms open now instead of 1. I've got 3 teachers. And I have to go Facebook Live. That's how I choose to do it. I'm not charging anybody anything. So I do Facebook Live 5 days a week, sometimes 6 days a week, trying to keep my kids. I don't charge anybody a penny. I do it for 3.5 months. I absolutely love it. I'm a little sad because it's not going well. I know shutdowns are left and right. We're all quarantined. I'm not stupid. So I've been praying a lot. July 9th, we open up here, our soft open. My husband, you ever seen him on the bar? My husband's actually trained, so they'll say, oh, he doesn't know what he's doing. He's actually trained. So one of the things we decided was as we opened this, we needed excellent products so people would continue to come back. We weren't going to settle with a mediocre product because you can do all the customer service you want, it's not good, it's like that. So we went with a product called Crimson Cup, which is the color of their cups. Amazing, amazing coffee. Actually, one of the people that we knew was attached to our congregation. He has a shop out in Alton, Illinois, that uses their product. That's how we kind of got attached with them. They helped us design our bar. They come out and train you. They come out for your grand opening. They come out for your first year celebration, and they're always there as your help. So we're wholesale partners with them, which has been really great. So I wasn't trained whatsoever. My husband was trained. He had this, a again, pie in the sky idea. He was gonna be on the bar once a week. He was gonna work once a week, keep all his recipes good, and he was gonna be here. And I went, okay. He is that. It's okay. So right after soft opening happens, I say, ask my family, so who's coming back in August? And I had all the children, I had one. And I said, we can't open on this. And my heart broke because I let my teachers go. I no longer had a job, which I knew the Lord would provide. It would be fine, but I didn't figure out what I was going to do. So within literally 2 days, he get the nudge. Hire Groundz. She's going to hire Groundz. And I'm like, I don't know, I was just finding a teaching job. Before I had even considered, nobody knew I was going to have to close. I had a job offer come in for teaching. And it was a great job. And it was a high paying job, much more than I was being paid. Full time, benefits, all of it. And I just didn't want it. So I said, I told Mark, I said, I want to be at Higher Grounds. Even if it's just for a while, just until preschool reopens. I want to do this. And our manager had fallen through, the one we were supposed to have fallen through. Everything was kind of falling into place. So we opened up, people start trying to figure out who in the world we are, and we start doing what we do, and people start realizing, hey, this is kind of a cool place. So we're doing okay, and I'm now taking up as manager, and we look ahead, and the pandemic really hits hard, and all Groundz is closed in November. And I go, what am I supposed to do? I mean, we're just starting to sort of take off, you know? And so I started trying to design a drive-through. I had it all figured out. We were going to open Black Friday. I had all stations ready to go. And I just kept hitting all these little roadblocks. And I've never been one of those people that says, oh, God's talking to me. I don't know. It's just not me. But I just kept feeling like this is not what we're supposed to do. This is not ministry. As soon as we turn into drive-through, we'll never close it, and we will only be a coffee shop. And that's not what I wanted. So we decided against it, and I said, if we're supposed to survive, we will. And Crimson Company told us it would take 3 years, and any restaurant you talk to takes 3 years for you to make any kind of profit. Until then, you're happy to break even, but you're probably going to be losing money. Our congregation knew this. We didn't intend on making any profit. It's always the goal. Obviously, when preschool shut down, there was no more money coming in from all, from that. That's also nonprofit. But there was that was a big hit for our church. And but we were okay. We were doing fine. So we just kept on. Higher Grounds is owned by Zion. It is a business all its own, but it is owned by Zion. It's not for profit, so we don't charge any tax. I really try hard to keep the amount of money that we charge for everything as low as possible, because I don't want to be like the chains that just gut you when you go in there and you're spending all this money. I've been asked to change prices, or I've been suggested by our company to change prices, I think 4 or 5 times in the 2 years we've been open. I've changed them twice. This last time I really didn't want to, but all the prices had gone up so much for us, and we were just making money, so there was no way. We had to change them, which was hard for me. And it was funny because nobody batted an eye. Nobody cared. They were fine with it. They were like, you have to, you have to. So we were thankful for our customers. Among this whole time, we have had the most amazing customers. We have had, I could sit here and tell you all day just amazing stories. So I'll share a few of them with you so you can kind of see some of the things that we've done. So we had a lady come in. So since I had all my teaching background, I know kids very well, and I know moms very well, and dads, of course, but moms as well. And I saw this mom come in, and she had the backpack. Moms, she had the backpack. And she had the 2 little ones, and she was trying to juggle her coffee and their little smoothies and their little cookies that they had bought. And she comes over and she's just tired. What's her backpack? She doesn't think I even see her. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, she looks exhausted. And right beyond this wall is my pre-K room that I designed from nothing. My preschool room is above there, which we had to begin with. And I said, I know you don't know me, but I have a preschool room just right over there that has all kinds of toys and no one's using it. And it's almost like a death has happened in my family to see that room. I couldn't even go clean it out. I had all these intentions to come back and it's all gone. And I said, I would be happy if you'd like to go stay in there. And she said, really? And I said, yeah. So I took her in there and she saw the toys and the boys were like, oh, Mommy. And I said, you are welcome to stay here as long as you like. Bring your coffee. She's like, oh my goodness, thank you so much. So she went in there and she was almost in tears. So I figured, well, we'll see her one day. Fine. You know what? I did something good. She called me because she wanted it. She needed a milk alternative. She was allergic to milk. That's why she came in. Going forward, she keeps coming back in. She asks, can I go to the room? Absolutely. As she starts meeting other moms that I'm now creating kind of a mom group that goes in there and hangs out. And she tells me that she does not believe in God. She is keeping God from her children at every road possible. She was raised Christian and she wants nothing to do with it. And she'll make sure that they have nothing to do with God. And I say, okay, I respect what you do and I'm not here to, you know. And she says, I like coming in here because you don't shove that at me. And I said, well, I'm here to be your friend and make you coffee. That's my job. So she comes months after months after months and she's hanging out with all these women that are Christian and it starts eking into her. People you hang out with start to get involved in who you are. And one day she comes up to me and her little guy that's only 2. She goes, I need to tell you something. And I said, okay, is everything okay? She takes me to the room. And I had this little figurine. It's like, imagine like I have Batman, I have Superman, I have Spider-Man, little action figures. I have a Jesus one. I know, it's pretty cool. And I had little hooks that she hang the little backpacks on, right? When she goes, Marlena, he just made a little 2-year-old. He just brought me this little Jesus and he hung him on the little hooks with his little arms outstretched. And he says, Mommy, they killed him. And she says, what? She says, they killed him. And she says, he goes, but don't cry, Mommy. He's okay. He's in heaven now. And she says, I've shown him no signs of God, and I've made sure of that. And this is what he told me. She goes, I think it's time I give God another try. And I thought, wow, that's all I could have ever wanted. So we're friends now. She's had another baby. She texted me and said, hey, I have another little friend I want you to meet. Can I bring him by? She's now working for a Christian chiropractor. Is she Christian? I'm not sure. It doesn't matter. She's found community here. She's found home here. She's found love here. And that's what we bring. So last year in the spring, my church council came to me and said, we really want to reopen preschool. We think it's time in August. We have a feeling you're not coming back. And I said, no, I'm not. I said, I took 19 years and I never thought I would have left, but it's time. And I'm going to say higher grounds. And I've read every leadership book I can find. I've read all kinds of marketing stuff because I wasn't trained in this. I don't have a business degree. I'm all teacher. I'm all there is. That's all I know. But I've been here almost 2 years now, and I absolutely love it. I love what I get to do. I love the things I get to see. There's just so many cool things we've gotten to do here. So we rent out the space now. It's amazing to me. Almost every day I have somebody calling me saying, hey, we heard that you have space available. Could we rent it for yesterday? So I haven't gotten a hold of her yet. Somebody called yesterday that wants to seminary wives want to come and meet here and have a little get together. I have B&I.
Sounds pretty radical.
I would have, that's the funny thing is I've never had seminary of anything come here,
Yeah.
which is really odd. I will say, so people say all the time, well, how much of your, this is just open to the church, right? No, we're actually open for 6 months on Sunday mornings. And I worked, I think, 3 months straight with no day off because I needed to be here. And Sundays didn't work. Sundays didn't work for this place. And I'm convinced it's because that was God giving me a day off. That's usually the only day I take off. Sundays didn't work, and we're not open Sunday morning for our church. We just have regular fellowship breakfast. I don't have a bar going. I offered it, but we decided against it. I would say maybe 20% of our clientele are our members. The rest of it is our community. The rest of it are people that just are looking for a good coffee shop. I've had people driving cross country. I've had people, I had somebody who just came in, sweet guy. He's probably been home for at least a year. He lives in Kansas City. His wife's family lives here. He's an entrepreneur. He has barber shops that are going to open up in this area. He has supplement superstores. He has some other kind of, I think maybe a tanning company as well. And he just came in. I just saw him a few days ago and I said, what are you doing back here? And he's like, well, you know me, anytime I come here, I stop in here and I support you because I love what you do here. And that's, to me, that's all we wanted. We just wanted to be that place. So I really try hard to get to know all of my people. I can't tell you how many people I have on my phone now that text me, asking for prayers. I had one just this morning asking for prayers, wanting to get together, wanting to do stuff here. But yeah, I mean, this space has become full of life and it's so neat. So now we've expanded and we've put things on the wall and we started our cross wall. This wall is amazing. I know things in front right now. This wall has crosses from literally anybody that wants to donate them. They have to go through Mark to make sure that they're okay, that there's nothing, you know, sort of iffy about it. But they have to be from, I think 4 inches to 12 inches as the size frame. They have to have, some of these crosses up here have been around for generations. And they took them from their homes. That this was my mom's confirmation cross. This was given to me when I was little. And they wanted to live here in our sanctuary, in our coffee shop. So we hope to fill it all up, and we chose blue because Zion, as my husband calls it, Zion in the Bible is where the heaven meets earth. So we wanted it to be sky blue, so we can kind of remember that as we go along. So our hope is that the whole thing would be filled up. And people would say, well, does it have to be a member that donates it? Absolutely not. You know, and then we have some houses that people just saw and said, oh, I'm gonna buy that. I want that for my coffee shop. And so it's been amazing to see the progression of what we've done. Next August 9th, we're celebrating our 2nd year anniversary, and we're actually going to have we'll have food special and everything going on. We have our LED sign now, which promotes our preschool, which I'm so excited. I still get to be part of the preschool. One of my former teachers, when I came here, she went, oh, she's not even a member. So I like coffee. You want me to come work with you? And I went, yes, I do. You're perfect for this. So she worked with me up until the preschool opened, and she came to me and she said, Marlena, they asked me if I would do the preschool. And I said, I know, I suggested you. I think you would be a great fit. And so her and I have a great relationship that she's upstairs working. She comes down every day and sees me. She's growing the preschool again. It's a whole new program, which I'm so thankful for, but I still get to help her. We meet up and we talk about curriculum, and I give her anything I can offer. I have a bunch of books. I tell her, what are you studying right now? I lend her all the books that I have. Library going back and forth for her. So it's neat. You know, there's no hard feelings. We all just love now what we can do together. So we now have 2 separate outreach ministries going for our church, and I'm so thankful. Oh, so that's what I was going to go back to. With the 3 years they expected us, so we should still be in the red. At 11 months, we were bringing in profit. I think we've only had 1 month since then that we were in the red, and it was January. It was a rough month for us with all the cold and the storms and stuff, but even there, we were barely in the red. They say the most growth happens in the first 3 years. We are still continuing to grow, and I just thankful to get to be part of it. But we are bringing in profit, which is more than I could have asked. So all that goes right back to the church to supplement helping with when the air conditioner breaks and the heater goes out and there's leaking and things like that, we're able to help with that instead of the preschool. So that's how it runs.
What's the membership of the church itself?
I would say, so pandemic hit us hard, as I think it did most churches. We, on a Sunday, I would say get about 125. I think we have about 300 baptized members. Is that the right way to say it, Mitch, or confirmed members? But I think we got about 125 that come on a Sunday right now, and then we stream all of our services. We stream a service each week online, so we have viewers that come through there as well. So we also have that.
What part of San Antonio did you live in?
Northeast,
Really?
yes. I went to MacArthur High School.
Really?
So did my husband. Yep. I'm a
Okay.
Grandma.
Yes, I know
Very
MacArthur
true.
quite well.
Mhm.
And I was at Fort Sam.
Yeah, my parents live off of Joe Maltzberger,
Yes, ma'am.
and it's funny because his family lives on one side of Joe Maltzberger and the same intersection, the same light. My parents live on the other side. We live, you could walk to each other's house. I know, and they still live there, so it's kind of crazy. So when we go home, we can just go to either house quite easily.
Mhm.
So it's nice. And then my sister lives in the same area, and his brother lives in the same area too.
I have to admit, I do miss the Riverwalk.
It's a beautiful area.
Yes, ma'am, it is.
So 2 questions. How has this ministry helped with evangelization with your congregations? Has it brought anybody in?
I will say we have had several people start coming to church because of here. It was not our intentional goal necessarily. I mean, it would be great to grow the church that way, but we definitely have had a few members that have joined because of it. Last May, we did it. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Joy FM. It's the Christian news station, the Christian radio station in our area. We paid to have them come out and be they didn't want to call it a sticker stop, but it was like a place that they could come. We had it set up in the front. And they had a DJ here, and they had the wheel they could spin, and they were giving out prizes and stuff. And then we offered, they did publicity over the internet, over the radio, and then in return, we provided samples of. I did cookies, and I did drinks like samples, and handed out coupons, and that brought in a lot of different people to our area, which really helped kind of grow us a little bit more. So, and actually 2 of those people that live minutes from here had never heard of us, are now members of our church because of that event, which is kind of crazy.
Then you know what we all like to drink. What do you drink?
Yes, so that's an interesting thing. I should also tell you, I didn't also mention, because he's going to be eating my treats. So I also am not a trained baker either. My husband says, don't say that out loud. And I'm like, but it's true. It's true. I mean, I grew up in the kitchen with my mom cooking. I love to cook. I love to bake. I love to do all that kind of stuff. I'm a nurturer by heart. That's just who I am. So when we started here, I told my friend who helped us open, I said, but we have no food. Like, everybody wants food. What do I do? And he said, and the premise behind Crimson Cup is you do your thing well. You don't do too much. And this is what I always tell people. You want a sandwich? Where do you go? Okay, well, maybe you go to Breadco. How's their coffee? Oh, it's not good. Okay. Your favorite coffee shop? Yeah. How's their food? You can only do so much exceptionally well. And that's what I want to do here. So for me, I can make some pastries on the side. I can't start opening up all the other stuff because quality of my coffee is going to go down. And we're Higher Groundz Coffee and Tea. We're not Higher Groundz Sandwich Shop. So I focus on my coffee and my tea and my smoothies and all that that entails. And when I got my food management license, because I knew I needed to, or certificate, I knew I needed to have some kind of food. So I started doing pastries. At the beginning, I wasn't sure it was going to take off. So I was trying to save money anywhere I could. I was hand drawing the little sun and writing Higher Groundz Coffee and Tea on every single one of my labels that I made. Everyone, because I didn't want to pay for labels. So I did that for a while. And after about, I think 8 or 9 months, somebody said, I think it's sticking around. And I went, okay, I spent some money because I don't like spending money. I was like, I don't know. And so I went ahead and I spent the money and I bought the labels and I started buying stuff. And now bakery has taken off and it's really done very well. I'm very blessed with that. But it was definitely kind of a, I'm not sure if this is going to work, but really I had somebody tell me, we're not supposed to be bakery. I said, and we're not a bakery. However, people want something else to eat with their drink. This is supplementing extra money. And I mean, it brings in a lot of money every single month. So to take that away would also take away from our pocket, which I don't want to do. So back to what you asked. So this sounds so funny. I love coffee, love coffee. I drink less coffee now than I ever have. And here's why. I think I might be a snob, you guys. I really do. If I'm going to drink hot coffee, I want it hot. I am not that teacher. I have all these teachers that say, oh, it's 3 in the afternoon and I just warmed up my coffee for this morning. I'm like, oh. Oh, that's so gross. No, it's fine. Oh yeah, I put a pot on in the morning and I'm drinking it later. I'm like, oh, that's gross. Like, if I'm going to drink my coffee hot, I want it hot. When it's gone cold, I'm done with it. Now, then they say, why don't you just drink your iced coffee? Your iced coffee is great. Oh, it is, but guess what? Now when I don't get to it, now it's diluted with ice. Well, why don't you drink the frozens? Okay, frozen milkshake, you ever left it there for an hour? What does it do? It separates. Also not a good choice. I'm like, look, but typically, here's what I now do. Let's see me with the little cup. I typically make an Americano or a latte is my favorite. I typically do 1 shot and I only fill it up halfway in the hopes that I would finish it all. Typically I don't. All my baristas go, you drank 3 sips. And I went, why? Because if Dave comes in, I'm not going to go, oh, I'm going to go wait on Dave immediately. And then if Todd comes next, and I'm not going to get to my coffee for who knows how long. And I don't care because for me, you guys are what's important to me. You know, I think of Groundz as I always think of it as, you know, when people come over, I love having people over my house. But when people come over, you got to clean. You got to make sure you have a nice meal. You got to have everything perfect. You know, when I'm here, my stuff's always perfect because I keep it clean all the time. And all my baristas know that's how we need to do it. But anybody can come in anytime. And it's like, I just have a big house that I get to entertain at all the time. And I can make all their favorite things. And I get to hang out with them whenever they want. And they can stay as long as they want. And that just makes me so happy. So for me, it's just people coming over all the time. So this right here is just drip coffee. I was told when I went to Starbucks back in the day, I can't do Starbucks anymore. I've ruined all of my baristas. They all go, Marlene, I went there and it's horrible. And I go, but not. We just got used to our product and I love our product. I can't go anywhere else. When I used to go to Starbucks, my favorite thing was a caramel macchiato. Packed plums because I don't like my stuff too sweet. And I love the salted caramel stuff they put on the top. And they only had it in the fall and I got so mad. So I carry the salted stuff all year long because I think everybody likes it. And but then I kept asking, well, what do you drink? Ask all the men, what do you guys drink? Americanos. And I say, well, with what in it? You just drink black coffee all day? Yeah. And they drink it all day. See, I maybe drink half a cup for the whole day. The more I've had my coffee, the less I want the sweet in it. However, I can't do it black. I don't know how the two of you do it. I can't do it. I can't do it black. I tried. I have to have just a little cream. I don't need any flavor. I don't want any flavor.
You gotta try it with mushroom powder.
I have to try mushroom powder. But I don't know what I need. I'm gonna have to try your mushroom
I
powder.
got 5 varieties.
I'm telling you. But I like the way our coffee tastes and we don't need anything in it. I also will say I love our tea. I love our tea. And that I can either do plain or my absolute favorite is the black tea with raspberry and pomegranate. It's not too sweet, but you're gonna guzzle it like the peach and the mango. But it's a little tart, but it's still very refreshing. I can sip on that for hours. Oftentimes you'll see me here with the black tea in my hand. So we're 6 to 6 Monday to Friday and 8 to 3 on Saturdays. And I think it's usually here unless I think person's a little sketchy, which doesn't happen very often. If I'm still here at 6 and they're still here, I'll say, it takes me like 30 minutes to clean up. You know, I'm gonna lock you in, so don't freak out. You can get out, you just can't get back in. But you can stay until I'm gone. I know.
How did you come up with a strategic marketing plan for the cafe? I call it the cafe.
It is.
Okay, and how did you develop your strategic marketing plan to the community with your cafe?
You mean for renting out this
Yes.
side or just in general?
In general, in general.
I learned a lot. So I did a lot of social media when I was doing my school, when I was doing my preschool.
Yes,
I was
ma'am.
in charge of all of that. So I just realized I need to be out there more. And actually, that's one of the things on my list. I have such a long list of things I want to get done, but I have on my list actually on how to get more followers. I have learned that word of mouth is best. However, I have a little QR code that I have attached on my COVID, I call it my COVID screen, but you know, that was to protect, but now it's actually very helpful for what we use our area for. The QR code attaches all of my accounts, so they can just scan on that. And that really helps because people will say, oh, well, I didn't know you were online. And I'll go, oh yeah, we're on there. Oh, you should, I'm on there all the time. I probably do. It's pretty rare to go a day without me posting something on there. Now, it's important not to oversaturate your market because they'll pass you right by. But I have people, I kid you not, they come with their phone, they're like, oh my goodness, okay, I saw them. It was, oh, what was the picture that, I was like, was it today? Yeah, I think so. Toasted marshmallow latte? Yes. Yeah, oh, it looks so good. Or sometimes I'll grab my husband's cup and I'll write on their pastor and I'll write whatever I'm gonna put in there. And I'll put it on there and I'll take a picture of it and they'll go, oh, pastor's favorite drink is, and they'll say, oh, it's toasted chip. And I'm like, well, that's really not his favorite drink. That just happened to be his cup for the day. And I knew I was gonna make it really pretty, so I took a picture of it. But I realized just having different, so I try to kind of change it up in the morning. I like to put hot drinks on there unless it's really hot like it's been lately, then I'll put a cold drink on there. But you have to kind of see what's working for you. I also, on the last board of my menu boards, I have a signature board that I change every month. And people don't realize how many options I have. I have a little flavor chart, but most people don't realize it. Whatever's on that board sells like crazy.
Yes, ma'am.
So I've learned, keep changing it up. And people come back and immediately they look right there. You can see where their eyes are going on what they're going to get, and they go right there. I also have found for my marketing, I have 8 sugar-free flavors. I have 3 different milk substitutes. Those have been huge in bringing people in because they realize that when you, like I said, I'm not trying to badmouth Starbucks or anywhere else. I say there's plenty of business out there. They don't do what I do and I don't do what they do. They have 1 sugar-free flavor, maybe 2. I have 8. So when people come in, they can have a sugar-free raspberry mocha and not have to feel guilty. If you're diabetic, I have a lady that comes in with, she'll be coming in about half an hour. She comes in, she's diabetic. She can't have all of that stuff. So what do we have to offer for her? This is what she gets every single time. She gets a sugar-free mocha. It has coffee in it, our signature cold brew. It has protein powder in it. So it's frozen. It has protein powder instead of the cooler powder, which has a bunch of sugar in it. Doesn't upset her diabetes at all. She can't have the pretty drizzle on the inside. She has skim milk, and she can have whipped cream now. And she can have just a little bit.
Right.
That's her drink. She doesn't have to feel like she's missing out when she comes in here because I can make her something that she can have and not feel guilty about and not feel sick afterwards.
Can I ask you a follow-up question?
Of course.
Yes, ma'am. What about your delicious treats? Those who are diabetic, you probably had many individuals come in and ask, well, do you have a non?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. How do you handle that?
I actually don't get the diabetic question as much as I get the gluten-free question.
Gluten-free. Yes, ma'am.
And that's hard for me. One of my baristas one of my former baristas is gluten-free. That was one of the first things I asked. I have some friends that have celiac disease, and I said, hey, I want to make gluten-free. How do I do that? And she goes, you can't. You'd have to scrap your entire kitchen because there's gonna be traces of that gluten in everything and it's
Right.
going to make them sick. And I have several allergies, so I can understand the cross-contamination. And so I'm just honest with people when I say, I wish I could, I would love to, but there's just no way without me starting my entire kitchen over. Plus, the church uses the kitchen as well. So even if I had made it gluten-free, if we have a turkey dinner or we have any kind of supper, there goes the gluten right in there. So there's no way I can do it. And people understand that. They're always very happy that our syrups are gluten-free. And oftentimes, you know, they can then have something. I had a lady come in the other day and says, well, I can't have dairy. And I said, okay, well, we can do milk substitute. And she goes, yeah, but it's in your syrups. And I said, no, I don't think so. So I just handed her the bottle and she goes, really, I can look at the bottle? And I said, yeah, which one do you want to look at? And she looks and she goes, wow, you don't have any dairy in here? And I said, whatever's on the label, I don't see any dairy, but you know what you're looking for. And she goes, I went to Starbucks and I kept getting sick and I couldn't figure out what it was because I changed the milk. There was dairy in their syrup and they didn't know it. And I just assumed it was an olive. And I said, always ask to see the labels. Always. I said, and we have nothing to hide here. I'll show you anything I have. So people appreciate that there's options, but they understand if you can't cater to all of them. And I think people are understanding of that.
I like to say thank you on answering both my questions, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes,
And I do then like to do though, like I have all the sugar substitutes available too. I even have stevia because again, I think it's important you have modifications for people who need it.
Yes, ma'am. Thank
So
you.
thank you.
I want to thank you for having us here.
Oh,
I
yes.
love having you. You guys were my first group that I
Really?
had. Mitch came up to me and said, hey, I want to do this. And I went, how am I going to do that? But okay, we'll figure it out. You know, I don't really market this site a whole lot. It comes on its own. It really does. I had you guys, then I had B&I start, then somebody from that B&I said, hey, I have this other guy that's interested too. And then they came and then I have a stamping class that meets here that our secretary happens to do. But we did a wedding reception on Saturday, you guys, with an open coffee bar. 75 people were here.
Oh, my.
I have another one already planned. So my husband and I said, hey, we're gonna be a good team. You marry him, bring him down here. We got this business going, babe.
It's
But
like
it was,
Methodist.
it was great. They're members of ours. And she said, I want to do a coffee bar. And he said, I think that's a cool idea. So I sat down with them and I was sort of the wedding coordinator, if you'd call it that. They had the food brought here. I had it all set out. We managed the buffet. I made cupcakes. They had gotten a wedding cake. The groom wanted chocolate cupcakes to go with it. So I made that. We cut the cake. We served the food. We had the open coffee bar. They literally were able to just come down. We made a little dance floor. They had a playlist. We did it on the AV, on the speakers. I was like, I put out all the decorations. So at 12, they got married. We closed here at 12. We had a soap company come in that has like no harmful chemicals. They were here from 9 to 11. They left 12 o'clock. We closed. They got married at 12. By 12:40, the whole room was in the correct area for all the wedding stuff. It was all ready to go. They walked in and they were able to just do their thing. And a few hours later, they were all gone. And I thought, oh. The week before, we did a memorial. So my husband comes up with a sort of memorial social. Because, you know, us Lutherans, we give good potlucks. I wasn't raised Lutheran, but we give good potlucks. So the family was coming in. It was a member that we had. She was in her 90s. She's one of our oldest members. She passed away. You know, she's been on hospice for a long time. All of her children are out of state. So she calls me and says, how am I going to do this? And I said, I've never even met this one. I'm like, I knew the mom though, and I loved the mom. I said, okay, well, you order the food, Pastor will do the memorial. Come on down. I'll take care of it all. I put the food all in the buffet. She wanted some goodies and some baked goods made, so I put those here. We closed the shop a little early. They came down. There was probably 50, 60 people. They all ate. I took care of it all. And then the family was able to just grieve and have time. The next day they left. Second I saw her, I had dressed, and I felt like I know you already. But it was neat. She didn't have to worry about anything. So you know, it's just neat the way things are kind of working out to be here and have this space available, so. So I'm glad you guys come, so thank you for all the, you guys you're so sweet. I have different groups that come and they all have their own personality to them.
Quirks.
That's the word I was.
No, it's interesting. Some are very, very staunch and very organized and very business, and then other ones are very laid back, and then other ones are just sort of a meld of just different people that are in there. Some very quiet. It's interesting. They all have their own touch, and you guys are, yeah, that's always wonderful. So I'm thankful for you.
Thank you.
You made this much easier than I expected it to be, because normally I'm not good at this. Normally I'm hot red by now. And yeah, so thank you for making that easier on me.
I told you, we're just a bunch of friends.
You're in front of the classroom with a bunch of kids.
Well,
I mean, you
I'm
know,
good with a bunch of kids. I'm not good with a bunch of adults, because I feel very inadequate.
have you been around us now? Really?
Well, no. Well, Ruth and Ann are.
She does know.
Somebody's gotta keep us.
Okay, so.
Thank you.
Thank you for all your time.
My grubby clothes. I know I don't dress pretty anymore, because I don't have any reason to, so I get dirty all the time. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. That's wonderful. 50-50 drawing.
Looks like we must have sold 5 tickets. $5.
What are you doing?
Bill, you gonna pull one out?
And don't leave yet, because we've got our wonderful trivia. 190.
Ooh, right before.
Right after me.
Yeah.
So did I go first or did you go?
Yeah, that's your card. You lost
Okay.
it.
Is it the truth?
It's fair. All right.
Speaking of, Jerry,
Oh,
Thank you.
I got a whole bunch. I lost again.
The odds are not with you.
well, this way, everybody else has it too.
Okay, the quiz question. You can, if you have the correct answer, you can have this wonderful, and I can't even tell you when.
That was
the theme
Todd
was
here as governor.
Building communities, bridging continents.
That was Todd here as governor.
I got more of those if you need.
I opened it. We may, because these cool socks that I ordered, I can't find them now. This is a brand new pad. I opened it up this morning and noticed there was a missing pad, so it's a Franklin Covey pad. Look dusty because it's never been used, or
It's genuine leatherette.
genuine. I actually, Todd, you'll enjoy this. Been looking for pad folios like this, and I actually saw one that said vegan leather.
Yeah.
Vegan leather.
Vegan
That's
leather. Leatherette. So they've gone from leatherette to vegan leather. So that or a mystery surprise under here that someone brought in. So the question is, what's the name of our guest speaker last week? Last
Student.
was a student, halfway there.
Student from Pattonville.
Huh? No, Parkway North.
Ruth has got it.
Elizabeth.
You're close. She wrote the manners thing, I think.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows?
I typed it on Facebook.
Okay.
I
Going
got it.
once, going twice, Emily Flagg.
There we go.
So this goes back into the prize box, and the super secret surprise stays in the prize box. Next week is August 3rd. Dave has the program. August the 10th, Dave has the program. August 17th, Carolyn has a program, and Dave and I got an email yesterday on what it is. August 24th, there was a miscommunication, but Al has a program, and it's a speaker for us from,
John Hocker,
John Harper VA. So, and then the board meeting is September 2nd. which is next week,
September.
August 2nd. Never mind, August 2nd, next week.
Still next week.
Still next week. So, and on that, before I continue screwing things up, let's say the four-way test and look what our wonderful
You know-
executive secretary did.
So we don't mix up 3 and 4?
Exactly. Well, I also cheated and wrote it on the
Printed one
bottom
out.
of my agenda too, so. All right, of the thing, the four-way test of the thing we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill, better friendships, and will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a wonderful day. Try to stay dry. Enjoy.